A word of thanks to those that had some other parts in this morning's reading of the gospel. God's grace, peace, and abundant mercy be with you today and every day, mindful of the gift of Jesus' love in your life. Amen.
Amen.
The blind man, or the healing of the blind man. That's about all that we know about this man in John's Gospel who received this remarkable gift. We don't know his name. We don't know what his previous daily rituals were. We don't know what his new days of ritual were going to look like now that sight had been brought back. But we know him as the blind man, or the guy that used to be blind, and we know him as a beggar. Why a beggar? Because at that time and in that place, culturally, if you had any ailment, if you had anything wrong with you, you were not clean enough, you were not worthy enough to be a part of the regular participation in the daily life of the other people. You were an outcast, and so he was not allowed in, and there he sat on the outskirts of town begging for anything to come by. If it's a chunk of bread, if it's a sip of water, or maybe even a coin to be received. The blind man, or the man that was formerly blind. We can use our imagination of him sitting there on the desert ground and hearing footsteps that he probably heard hundreds of times daily. And not knowing who was walking up, reaching a hand out, begging for anything. And that one day it's Jesus. And in that one day, the blind man receives the gift of healing, the gift of transformation, the gift of new life, as he received some mud on his eyes and went to the pool to wash. That's about all we know. We know him as the blind man. If we jump back a week, we know Pastor Amanda had preached on the gospel text from John about the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman. We don't even know her name, and I want these people's names because names are important. They tell us who we are. They set us apart from other people. And sometimes names have stories. I mean, my name is John, John, not Jon or Jonathan, John. And that's it. That's all that I'll accept, no matter how much you want to push me into being Jon. Why? Because I happen to have had two great-grandfathers, one on my mother's side and one on my father's side, whose name was John. Fortunate enough to spend a few years, although I don't remember him, a few years with my dad's grandpa, my great-grandpa John. In my grandma's kitchen used to hang a picture of me with great-grandpa John, and he and I holding hands going out to the chicken coop. We were up on their farm, and it was time to go collect the eggs. My name is important to me. You know me as John. I was thinking about names. My sister's name is Jenny. Jenni. And that's really important. Because see, when my mom was ready to give birth to my sister, I was 5 years old. And shortly before she was born, I had the opportunity to be a ring bearer in a wedding. And guess what the bride's name was? Jenny. Not Jenny, Jenni. And I fell in love with Jenny. I thought she should have been my wife. And so when we got home after the wedding, I was adamant that if this was going to be a girl, that her name had to be Jenny. No other name would be accepted, and not Jennifer, because the woman I fell in love with, she was 33 years older than I was, it didn't matter. Her name is Jenni. So guess what my sister's name is? Jenny. Jenni. Now, you might be chuckling to yourselves a little bit if you happen to know my wife and who I'm married to. Her name's Jenny. I couldn't find a Jenni, so I had to settle with a Y, but at least it's the same name, right? I'm a really simplistic guy. I went to Luther College and Luther Seminary. My sister's Jenny. I'm married to a Jenny. But these names are important. These names define us and who we are. And then when you say your name, it's not just one aspect that we think about. It isn't just one piece of who you are. We think of your all-encompassing self, of who you are and the role you play and the type of friend that you are and all those different aspects of community and the ways that you play that out. And so it's not fair that we simply know them as the Samaritan woman at the well or the man that was formerly the blind man beggar. I want to know names because when we put labels and limitations on people, we do a couple things. We don't provide space for the full understanding of who that person is, and we don't allow them to be anything but that. I mean, so a blind man beggar, when you hear that name, you automatically can have some assumptions about that person. But I can guarantee, well, I can't guarantee you because then I'd have to prove it to you, but I can almost guarantee you this guy was more than a beggar who was blind. I mean, probably a brother, probably a friend. I mean, we can assume he was more than just simply these labels that we put on people, that we put on situations, we put on scenarios. And sometimes those labels even go with us as we move forward, preventing us from preventing like I mean, what kind of name is the man formerly known as the blind man? Like, it doesn't give him opportunity to grow into what that new person, that new identity, that new aspect of who he is, if we just simply think of, oh, he's this. Or she's this. But we do it as well. Oh, she's the one widowed. Or, oh, you know, the divorced one. Oh, the one that has autism. Oh, that cancer survivor. You know that cancer survivor that we know? Oh, that one that lost their house and had to go into foreclosure. You know that one? You know, the one whose body has declined a little bit and now is using crutches or a cane or a walker or a wheelchair? You know that one? As soon as we put a title on somebody, rather than naming them for who they are, we box them in our understanding of who they are. Somebody that's widowed is way more than a person who used to be married and now their spouse is dead. They're way more than that. That being widowed and that experience in their life, sure, it could have fully shaped who they are today, but they're way more than just being a widowed person or just being that divorced person or that person that has some sort of ailment. And so when we lose sight in an unwillingness to name and claim, we get trapped in the past and we fail to look forward to who they might become. We don't know the blind man's name, so all we can do is keep jumping back to the past. Remember that beggar blind man guy? Yeah, he's probably doing good things, but in our minds we're brought back to that. And it's not helpful. And it's not the work that God is up to in our midst. And sometimes there's titles we give ourselves out of criticism, out of a lack of self-understanding or self-worth. And those titles, and maybe nobody else knows them, but those titles don't help either. Because they prevent us looking back. Prevent us from looking forward and keep us trapped in the back. Think about your car for a minute. Hopefully, each car that you all either drove or rode in on your way to church this morning, hopefully the windshield was bigger than the rear view mirror. Both of them are incredibly important, but one is really big and one isn't. I think at the heart of this story is that we need to pay attention to the really big name, the really big picture, the where we're going. Not the names or the titles that named us or identified us in the past. Because as we continue to look back, that prevents us from looking forward. I mean, if you sat and drove with your rear view mirror, you either are not going to get anywhere or you're going to get into an accident. So don't do it. Keep looking forward. But metaphorically, we need to as well. And if you need a new name, if you need a new identity, If you need a new understanding, while we maybe shade out the rearview mirror and continue to look forward in the direction that we're going, not to dismiss your ailments, not to dismiss the difficulties, not to have to look past to those things that have happened, but if you want to go forward, can you remember this name? Beloved child of God. You have been named and claimed beloved child of God, which means you have been made perfect, and you have been put into this place with a purpose. And so those other titles, those other boxes that sometimes get put around us, as we look into that windshield and look forward, will you be reminded that through the gift and the promise of baptism, you have been claimed and you are beloved by God. The blind man, maybe we should just eliminate that title in the Bible and just name him as beloved child of God, or the Samaritan woman at the well, beloved child of God, because at least that's more accurate to who they are and to who we are. We also try on disciple of Jesus Christ. Because as a beloved child of God, we are invited into this remarkable relationship. A relationship where we are nurtured and fed by God and the gift of the Holy Spirit. And we are called and challenged to, as we look forward in that massive old windshield, we are called to look forward and to ask ourselves, who is God calling us to be as a disciple? As we boldly launch ourselves as a disciple and willing to own that name, where are we being called to? What new attitudes are we being challenged to think about? What new places are we being brought into? And then as we go into those places, named and claimed beloved child of God, and trying on this role of disciple, that we go and tell the stories of transformation in our life. We talk about the places in how our lives have been made whole. Now, we know that the blind man becomes a disciple of Jesus. It says it in John 9. And I haven't spent a lot of time with all of you, but if I'm excluding you, let me be. But I haven't heard any of you tell me that you were blind, born blind, and sight brought back to you. I think I would have heard that by now. So maybe it isn't that powerful, transformative story, but we have stories to tell. So what is that story as we try on the coat of beloved child of God and the hat of disciple of Christ? What is that story that we're being called to tell? What's that new attitude, that new perspective, that new idea as we continue to go forth in the world? So others know that they too are beloved children of God, claimed by the one who has made us. They too are the ones in who Christ came to teach and to show and to be with. And to be set free. Set free so that all may know they are beloved. And that God desires to transform us for the sake of God's world. Thanks be to God.
Amen.